24 minus 4 is 20. The square root of 20 reduces to 2 square roots of 5. And if you multiply that on the calculator, it's actually 6.2 something something something. Is 6.2 less than or equal to 6? No, it's greater than 6. This is not true. Okay, well, that's what I'm supposed to get. I just want to double check and make sure that what I'm saying, what numbers are included, is true. Yes?
For a second one, I should get 2 plus 2.
The square root of 4 is 2. Okay? Yes?
What if x was 3? Where do you get 2?
I just chose any number that will satisfy this. I just chose 2. You could have chose 1, 3, 4, 5, whatever. Okay? All right. Do we need to do step 1 and make sure that our radicand is positive?
Yes.
Why?
Because
It's an even root. Okay? So my first step is make sure that 2x plus 3 is greater than or equal to 0. Well, that means that x must be greater than or equal to negative 3 halves. Subtract 3 and then divide by 2.
You have to do the opposite of what you do in the problem.
I'm not even looking at this. I just want to make sure that this expression is not negative. So it's always going to be greater than or equal to 0. Trying to make sure it's not negative. Okay? All right, so I'm going to start graphing that. What's negative 3 halves? Okay, so right now I have this. Now I'm going to solve the inequality and find the other piece of the graph, and I'm going to only show, as my solution said, where they overlap. Okay? All right. Starting to solve this inequality. What do I do first? Add 4 to both sides. Now what? Square both sides. Subtract 3 from both sides. Divide both sides by 2. All right, and then go and graph that solution.
So where did you get 9?
Where'd I get what 9?
4.
This 9, when I added 4 to both sides. Got rid of this here, and 5 plus 4 was 9. Okay? I think we're to a point where I don't have to do this anymore. Like when I say add 4 to both sides, hopefully we can just go there. All right. If I graph x is less than or equal to 39, I'm looking for where those two things overlap each other because that is my solution. Nick Wagasback, please wake up. Is there an overlapping?
Yes.
Yes, there is. So your solution is written this way.
You can't keep it.
You can keep it as negative 1 1/2. That's fine.
How do you know how to write it like that?
Because my arrows are always pointing towards the left because my smaller number is always going to be on the left and my larger number is always going to be on the right. And x is located between those numbers.
That's always going to be that way.
Yes. If you always put your smallest number on the left, and your largest number on the right, just like the number line, and then point your arrows towards the smaller number, and x is in the middle. Yes.
For that, the very first step, why did on the last problem, why did you do it was greater than 1? It had to be greater than 1. And then like that one you said it had to be greater than 0.
No.
Oh.
I started off, the expression must be greater than or equal to 0. So x must be greater than or equal to 1. Here, once again, I started off saying that the expression must be greater than or equal to 0. Okay? All right. Now, this is one of those crazy lunatic problems. Okay? It's okay. As long as there's an even root, we need to make sure that the expression underneath that radical is not negative. Right?
Can you do both of them?
Yes, we have to do step 1 twice. Okay? Because I have to make sure that this does not work out to be a negative number. So, I set it greater than or equal to 0 and figure out what b has to be. And I need to make sure that this is not negative. So I set that greater than or equal to 0, and there's no solving to be done. Okay? Well, let's graph that.
I don't get why you have to do that.
Because if this expression works out to be a negative number, I cannot find the square root of a negative number. So I can't solve the problem. Okay? Because notice,
It is a negative.
here when I found the solution set, if I just worked the problem, then I would say, okay, all numbers less than 39 solve this inequality. But negative 2 doesn't solve the inequality because negative 2 makes this not a real number. That's why I have to do that. Okay? Wait, I'm going the wrong way. All right, so let's graph this. We have b is greater than or equal to negative 12. B is greater than or equal to 0. And now let's actually solve the inequality. Now we're going to look for where all three things are overlapping each other. Okay? All right, starting with the inequality. Okay, this is one of the ones where you have to square it twice. I have 2 square roots on the same side. If I have plus something and I want to move it to the other side, what do? No. I'm sorry. Yeah, I do subtract if I have plus. I have minus something. How do I move it to the other side? You add it to the other side. Okay, everybody look at what we have and make sure you understand how we got there. We're simply moving the square root of b to the other side. The square root of b is being subtracted, so I'm going to add it. Make sense? Okay, I have isolated one of the radicals. It is time to square both sides. Now on this side, I simply get rid of the radical and I have b plus 12. But on the right-hand side, that turns into what type of problem? FOIL. All right? First times first is 4. Your outer terms give you 2 square roots of b. Your inner term gives you 2 square roots of b. Can you add those together? So you have 4 square roots of b. And last times last is b. Well, I've managed to get rid of one radical, but I still have one. So now I need to isolate that radical, which would include this right here. Now I want to get this by itself. All right?